This is the practice of empathy. That if we're struggling to communicate to someone, if we're struggling to help someone be at their natural best, I'm tired of people saying to me, how do I get the best out of my people? Really, that's what you want? They're like a towel, you just wring them. How can I get the most out of them? No, how do I help my people be at their natural best? Right? We're not asking these questions. We are not practicing empathy. We have to start by practicing empathy and relate to what they may be going through, and it will profoundly change the decisions we make. It will profoundly change the way we see the world. Someone's driving to work, you're driving to work, and someone wants to cut into your lane. What do? Do you pull your car up, or do you let them in? Most of us pull our cars up and go like this. You wait your turn. Now let's practice empathy. I don't know, maybe they've been out of work for 6 months. Maybe they had trouble getting the kids out to school this morning and now they're running late for a really important interview and they just have to get to this interview and they're gonna cut into our lane. Or maybe they're just a bastard, I don't know. But that's the point. We don't know. We don't know. And the practice of empathy will say, I'll let them in and I'll arrive to work 1 car length late. Right? We don't always have to be right. We don't always have to be in charge. We don't always have to be the one who succeeds. It's not about winning or losing.
Meeting a new person, my conditioned impulse is to think, what can I get out of you? Or what are you trying to get out of me? To see you as a competitor. Rather than in a different story, we might meet a new person and think, what gift do you bring? What are we meant to serve together? What am I meant to give to you? What am I meant to receive from you? What is our right relationship? Like these are natural questions when we no longer see ourselves as fundamentally separate from each other. Your well-being is connected to my well-being, just like in an ecosystem, where you can't say that, if we just eliminated all those bugs, then the trees would do a lot better. I mean, people actually used to think that. They used to think, well, everything's in competition with everything else. So if you eliminate the competitors, then the rest will do much better. That's a natural way to think in the mindset of separation, where we're all in competition. But when we understand ecology, that the strength of the whole depends on the strength of the parts, that everything contributes a necessary gift toward the well-being of the whole, then and then we apply that to the social ecology, we apply that to each other, then we understand, competition is actually a special case. It's not that there's no competition, but it's part of a much larger fabric. And we no longer need to default to that when we relate to another person.
Empathy fuels connection. Sympathy drives disconnection. I'll tell you why. Empathy is feeling with people. So if Tim, I'm going to use you as an example. Is that okay? Tim called and said, I just finished my rewrites on this article. I'm trying to think of something we have in common, which is writing. I just finished my rewrites on this article and they've sent it back again. And I just have this overwhelming feeling that nothing's going to please these folks. So to respond empathically or empathetically, you can say it either way, I would need to try to understand his perspective, stay out of judgment, recognize what he's feeling, and kind of communicate it back. Now, when you're teaching graduate students who are new to counseling, they like to go, oh, Tim, you must be feeling so sad. I feel that with you, which is not exactly what empathy looks like. Painfully sometimes, maybe. But if he said that to me and I went, oh, shit, I hate that. Would you know? I've been there. I hate that. Or if I looked at him and said, or talked on the phone even and said, oh God, there's nothing worse than just keep on sending it in and sending it in. That's empathy. Empathy is, I'm feeling with you. Sympathy, I'm feeling for you. And to me, I always think of empathy as this kind of sacred space when someone's kind of in a deep hole and they shout out from the bottom and they say, I'm stuck, it's dark, I'm overwhelmed. And then we look and we say, hey, you climb down. I know what it's like down here, and you're not alone.
Try when walking down the street, looking at every single person and thinking of the suffering that they've endured. Think that behind their eyes is a consciousness just like your consciousness in pain. Think about it with people that you actually have enmity towards, people that you struggle with, people that you feel have victimized you or subjugated you or controlled you. Think about people in public life that you may not like. Say, for example, you dislike Jeremy Corbyn, or you dislike Boris Johnson, or you dislike Donald Trump or Nancy Pelosi. Think of them too as humans just like you. Oh, this is too simplistic, this hippie bullshit. No. We are returning to deep universal truths. What do you want? Intellectual convolutedness? What do you want? Great pirouations of epistemology, losing yourself in political analogy? What's the point in that? Human beings, born that will die, made of cells, continually dying, being replaced.
Try on a different lens. Try on the lens of, what is it like to be you? Where is the other side coming from? What is their story about the world? What do they take as fact? What do they care about? How do they narrate events to each other? If you're sourcing any kind of self-esteem, any kind of personal validation from being good and right, then are you really going to have the humility to accept any data point that violates the story that you're right and you're good and you're on the good team? You're not going to be likely to let that disrupting information in. Same with the other side. And that's why no amount of logic and evidence is going to convince anybody to change their mind when they're identified with an existing position. There needs to be a willingness to let go of that. And that doesn't mean that the truth lies in between the two sides and it's about compromise. It lies in something that's not even part of the conversation. It lies in the questions that are not being asked. Inquire. In the spirit not of confirming that I'm right after all, but with an openness. By doing that, you become an agent of peace.